Yo, it's wait, is that Leaflit? Is that the Leaflit in the kick chat? Oh my god, welcome Leaflit. I'll just say hello, hello. For those who aren't aware, I'm currently using the model that Leaflit kind of just put out not too long ago. I would say a few hours ago. Here's the original tweet from Leaflit. The new budget VTuber system, AS Adventure, is now out in alpha test. There may be some bugs, but just let me know. Or Simone H. Collins if it's on the Rfab side. Please tag me on your model's creations. I want to see it. And then the links are below. So here's the link to the website, which I have open over here. We'll open source the standalone version soon so people can make their own forks and improve it. I'm not a programmer. Let's make budget VTubing great for everyone. If you're having problems, try Chrome or Brave. Firefox seems to have issues. So luckily I'm using Chrome. Oh, yo, look, there's me at the bottom. Luckily I'm using Chrome, so, you know, it's working out for me. But yeah, so in essence, I don't know if I, let me turn the audio down here, but you can see like this is something that Leaflet's been working on. I think, yeah, she demonstrated with her own model, and this one is prepackaged. If you do download it, if you go to the website and download it, this specific avatar is also prepackaged in as an example. I think there's another, yeah, this one also, this fairy one is also prepackaged in. I believe I can switch to them. I don't know how quickly it switches. Let me check. But is it on here? Yeah, there's the model. I have this one I can switch to. So it switches very fast, apparently. So here's the fairy model called Query. And then here's Catherine, the Nekomancer, I think. Hello. That's pretty good design, right? I assume it switches pretty fast. It's just videos, basically. True. It does indeed switch pretty fast. So I'll switch back to my model. My model apparently is way zoomed in, apparently, compared to these, I just noticed. But that's okay. I like it. It's very cat indeed. Anyway, on here you can kind of see, this is the client. So this is after you've already made it. This is how you can adjust it if you want to use VTube Studio, which uses the iPhone camera. You got iFacial map, or mocap, which I believe also uses the iPhone camera. That allows you to use the camera to track your emotions. So if you smile on camera, it should be able to track your smiling, your frowning, your surprise, your eyes. If you do like some sort of eye expression, I believe. So if I had developed, you can see here, there's different statuses. Like there's the neutral idle, where so if I stop talking, you'll see the neutral idle. You see where the tail is just kind of shaking, and so that's I have neutral idle, and then I have neutral speaking. That's all I'm utilizing right now. But you can set up like if you want a happy idle, a happy speaking, sad, surprised, and then typing. You can set up. So there's different stuff you can set up that'll switch to based on what it detects. And then they have a lot of expression thresholds, so you can adjust like sensitivity. One of the ones I definitely had to adjust early on was the microphone threshold, because of the fact that if I say nothing, the room has a certain audio level. So by default, we're kind of hovering around like 20. So I had to adjust this up to like 35. So once it reaches past 35, then it starts actually switching to the speaking status. So, yo, thank you very much for the follow. Was that on YouTube, I believe? Thank you very much, Leaflit. Oh, that was on Kick. Thank you for the Kick follow, Leaflit. Anyway, so that's all cool, right? So this is the website. If you want to go download it yourself, you can go to I guess it's on Leaflit's link here. I think it's Clio. CLIO.angelsword.com/adventure/index.html. W Leaflit, yeah, W Leaflit. Keep it real. And so right now I'm demonstrating like this is the client. This is the client that I'm showing you here, which is if you already have a model or if you want to play with the already existing models. That would be the download on the left, to download the client. Which I believe it explains here. 2 tools, 1 pipeline. You have the client. Then we have the creator, which we're going to go through shortly. And we'll try and, I don't know, we'll find an example of something to create here. But the adventure creator is the one that has all the different generation tools. And there's two ways to utilize it. You can get the, I guess you can use it locally, which is what I'm doing. Or you can use it on rfab.ai, which I believe is a website that was developed with Malcolm Collins and Simone Collins. Well, actually, that was their website. And Leaflit has worked with them to add this piece, I believe, to the website. And there's a little step-by-step here. Anyway, so if we were to skip to the tool here, after I downloaded it, I'll go back to start. I mean, this is already out the exporter part, but go to Sprite Prep, right? Now, two things you'll need, I guess. You will need an okay. If you intend to utilize OpenAI and Gemini, you will need API keys for both. And you have to go to the settings to input both of those, which I've already done, so you know we don't have to sit here for that part. If we go to the Sprite Prep, you can name it. This is just what I had already in it. I said Neko the Neko. I said cat girl, short, white, twin tails hair, red eyes, red dress. And that's all I put in there. And that's how we got these examples. So I guess the idea is now, what can we do as an example? Do we want to really like push it? Do we want to do something that's bizarre? As an example, we could do something really crazy. Is this model GPT or Gemini? Well, this part, so this first part, the Sprite Prep, this is the OpenAI part, which it says is utilizing, so it says required for AI sprite generation, GPT image 2. The Gemini key is used for Gemini Omni Flash, which is the video generation. A 40K Commissar Neko, that would be cool. That's good for a short description. Yeah, I would agree. We can see how much it recognizes a 40K Commissar. So cat girl, short, white, twin tails hair, red eyes. Rather than a red dress, we can say red. Let's see. What would a Commissar look like? I guess we'll say Warhammer 40K. Well, I don't know if, you know, it depends on if OpenAI recognizes it. We'll see. Commissar outfit. I could be more detailed, obviously, but we can see where it goes with just this. Now, here you can put it in action. You can say, I want them to be, you know, pulling out a gun, putting on a hat, you know, waving. You can set an action here, but if you don't put anything in this box, it says optional. It will default to the neutral idle, which is what we'll want to start with. We'll just say Neko, this will be Neko the, we'll just name it Commissar. I think it's 2 S's, is it not? I don't know. Commissar Neko. Anyway, so they give you 3 options here. So, race mode. Notice there's no black or white. No, but there is, you got normal. You have black, white, normal. No. You have normal, which is just human. So you have a standard human. You have the, how do you even say this? Kemono Mimi? Which really is like, what, animal ears? I don't know. I don't remember exactly what it is. But obviously, it says here, human face with animal ears and tail, no human ears. So that's the one I'm utilizing for Neko here. They also have a scaly, full anthropomorphic beast folk. Oh, this is no, so it's like level of furry you want to get. Level of furry. You got normal person, then you got really furry and scaly. So if you want full, like, snouts, fur, whiskers, animal features, you got to go all the way over on the right there. We're right in the middle, all right? And that's probably why I added the tail, right? Anyway. You can also add your own character references, if you'd like. You can add, like, a reference image, which, one thing I would say is what I've noticed is the reference image is good, like it works, but it might work a little too well. So one nitpick, I don't know if maybe we can have like a slider here to determine like how much it sticks to the reference. Maybe one slider for character reference and one slider for art style would be nice. I don't know how, like, I don't know if that would be difficult to add, but that would be one thing I would recommend because it's a good idea. Thank you. Because one thing I noticed is when I put in a reference, it stuck a little too close to the reference. As in, like, to give an example, I put in an example image of my character holding, like, sticking out a middle finger. But I was hoping it would just take the character and make a standard, like, arms down default position, right? However, it generated with the still doing the same exact position. So it's sticking a little too close to the source, just a little bit. So being able to adjust that would be nice. Anyway, so you also have down here, you can set what color you want to be in the background. By default, I think it sticks to green, but if you do add a reference image, one thing I've noticed is that it is nice in that it will seemingly auto-detect what background color is best for whatever image you added in. So if you add in a character that's very green, I believe it's going to switch to maybe magenta or yellow or something else that will work better as a chroma key color. Another part here is we can add multi-generation. So if we want to generate just one image, if we're very confident, you can do one image. But if you want more options to be able to choose from, you'll want to choose at least two. I've been doing two so far. So let's generate. Let's see what happens. Now there might be a very loud sound because the default is a sound alert, which actually kind of spooked me when it came off or when it went off last time. Because it was terribly loud. It was a terribly loud sound alert. But it's fine, you know, hey, you want to... It makes sense if you want to turn it on, you want to hit generate, and you want to walk away. You want to walk away and then hear from the other room. It works perfectly. But you're in the same room and it scared me. Lol. It makes sense. Leaflit is terribly loud. Is this true? Maybe. But, yeah, here's where we'll wait for it to generate the sprite. It may take a bit. That's not the tool's fault. That's going to be the...
Quest complete.
Oh, Jesus Christ. That still scared me. All right. I jumped. You couldn't see it, but I jumped. All right. Yeah, so... I forgot what I was saying. Hey, it's done. It is done. It scared you. So one thing I was going to say is maybe in the settings... Maybe in the settings have a adjustment for the loudness, or maybe even like disabling of the sound. So we got two images here, which let's see, well, I guess it depends on which one we think looks better. I like this. I feel like I like that this one's like showing more of the torso. So I'm gonna choose this one. So here's where you can you like the right one more? Left one looks more sassy. True. You can also save both if you want. You can just save them, and like if you just in case you want to save both, you can save both. I'll save both just in case. Either way, I'm gonna choose this one to go forward. Wait, can I? Yeah, I'm gonna choose the one on the right. I'm gonna go to send to generate video. So we're going to the next step. If you notice up here, we have the steps. So now we're on the generate video step. So here we have a cool looking Neko. We can say, all right, here's kind of the default, I believe. The default description here. It's not really the intended use, but this seems like it could be a pretty good AIO animated emote generator. True, it might, I mean, yeah, it's not the intended use, but it certainly could be utilized for other things as well. That sounds like a potential valid use, yeah. So we're gonna make the default. We're not gonna make, it's not gonna be talking. So the default's very good already. One thing I would add, at least I've added in myself, is I've noticed, this isn't really an issue, but I've noticed that using the default and just hitting go, when I'm going for a default like non-talking, but when I'm going for a default non-talking, but I don't put that in here, like I just leave the default description here, it does tend to move the mouth. It does tend to flap the gums a bit. And I'm like, well, that's not quite good for a default, right? You know, that's not really good for the non-talking, the neutral idle. So I have had to throw in here. Oh, it does. Oh, this is what I added last time, by the way. So I added the characters talking on a loop. So I'm going to cut that out. And I'll say, let's see. Characters, mouth stays closed. No speaking works really well for it. All right, let's try that. Let's try no speaking, actually. So no speaking. Or I guess we could throw that in constraints, right? That would work too? Okay. We'll leave that. We'll throw in here no speaking. All right. But you can, so here you can adjust the length. Now keep in mind, it does mention down here, it takes 10 cents per second of video generated. And that's based on using Google Gemini's API. You can adjust it to be 10 seconds or down to 3 seconds. I've just been using 5 seconds, seems to be fine. Obviously, if you increase it, it's going to cost more to generate. And you can also say, I want to generate 2 videos at once, 3, 4. Obviously, having more options gives you, like, there's a chance if you just do one, you're going to get a bad gen. So you might want to do more so you can choose just in case something comes off as wrong. So I'll do 2 here. I'm going to hit generate. We'll see how quick this goes. Oh, I didn't mention the keyframe mode. So there is a keyframe mode. I don't know if changing this while it's loading will do anything. Probably not. So, like, I'll risk it. We'll see. In keyframe mode, you can actually specify the starting and end frame, which I believe could be very good for if you want to ensure it loops. You can potentially throw in the same image in start and end frame if you want to really ensure that it.
Quest complete.
There it is. And that was much quicker than the image generation, oddly enough. But if you really want to ensure maybe that the start and end frame are the same, you could throw them both in here. Copy this, throw them both in here. Don't use end frames right now? Okay, so right now, end frames are bugged. But the idea is there for whenever those are fixed. But anyway, so here's what we got generated so far. Let's see, play it. See, this one's moving its mouth a bit. That's a little bit of a problem, but you can play this one. This one's a better idle. I would argue this one's a better idle because this one on the left, I like the flowing, but the mouth moves, and also you got to keep in mind the idle is gonna have to cut into other animations, and you may not want it to be too animated. I'd imagine just yet. Save the very animateds for maybe like emotes. I would think. Start frames work though. All right, that is good to know. So end frames might be bugged at the moment, but start frames do work if you want to use those. You think they're too high up? It'll cut off the top. I feel like, I mean, I think you're right, but is that not? Is it maybe just the? I want to test something. Let's check something. If I select this, and you can save both. Oh, you can select both? Can you really? Okay, so I don't know if that's intended or not, but it looks like you can select both. I'll select just one. If I go forward, let's see if it is cut off at the top. It is. Okay, so that is good to know. All right. So if I go back, will it still be there? Okay. It's a bug? All right, good to know. Because yeah, it probably only wants you to move forward with one of the videos. So you're intended to choose just one. Yeah, maybe that was my bad in choosing one that doesn't leave a lot of room on the top. Use the keyframe. Okay, I can use the keyframe, and I'm gonna select the image I saved, which would be the Commissar Neko 2, I believe. Open that. That looks right. Oh, you can drag it in from the top. Oh, whoops! Like just drag down here. Oh, that would have worked. Yeah, good to know. That's a shortcut. All right, we're gonna leave the description exactly the same, and we're gonna gen again. This is good data, though. True. Yeah, at the very least, it might, help you see the way someone... I wouldn't argue I'm normal, but you might see someone who's a normal user, how they might use it, and maybe how best to streamline the UI. Yeah, true. I wouldn't argue I use things normally, but it still might be useful for you. Is it genning? Did it... I don't know if it went. Let me try hitting that again. Go. Oh, okay. So apparently it requires both the start and end. But you're saying the end is bugged? So maybe that's something that you might want to allow just starts and just ends, maybe. If that's an option, I don't know. But so far, it looks like it might require both. How a neck would use it, exactly. I mean, I could throw one in the end. I don't know if you like... Leaflit said it might be bugged. We'll see. Let's find out. Same one in the end? Yeah, let's try that. And hopefully this one doesn't take too long. Obviously, it's pretty quick last time. That is weird, yeah. Okay, so it looks like it might still be cutting off the top. What you can do is go to the sprite prep and just put the image and then use the zoom feature. Ah, true. Okay. Let's try that. So go to sprite prep. I'm gonna add the image we already had developed earlier. It does show up here, but it's not showing up here. So I guess I can still zoom. It's very close to the top. Yeah, so the image and the video aspect ratios are slightly off. But what did you say? Press the green? Oh, gotcha. So let's get this one. Zoom. We're gonna set the zoom to like. We'll set it to here. Let's give more room at the top here. Be a little safer here. Be like 60%. All right. Send the video. Okay, we have mouse remains closed. We have no speaking. Let's just generate out of this. Now I'm just doing QA work. It's like the face when you're doing free quality assurance. That's okay. No worries. It's fun though. See, it's fun. I'm enjoying this.
Quest complete.
All right. This one seemed to work a little better, at least or giving us more room at the top. Let's see. It does seem to keep moving the mouth. It seems, yeah. So one issue I've had is trying to make it stop moving the mouth. So, maybe there's something more I can do here. Okay, I'm gonna hit generate again. Let's hope we're gonna fingers crossed hope that this time it doesn't make the mouse move. You have to be pretty pedantic with video gen. It likes to take liberties when you don't give it details. True, as demonstrated here. So we're gonna go with the left one. We're gonna move on to the next step here. So here we have it looks like it might look like early on that it's like glitching or it's like skipping, but keep in mind it is caching at this moment. So don't judge it just yet. All right, so now that it's cached, if I play it, it should run smoother. So this is more representative of what we can expect. Very cool. Now, one thing I want to add to Leaflit, that one thing I was going to say, let me explain the tool first real quick. So you have onion skin you can add. This is a checkbox which lets you see all the different layers. I guess it doesn't work on in motion, but when it's paused, okay, it's not working now. Maybe what I have to do is make it run to the end. Let's let it run to the end. Now that it's done, okay, now that it's done, it works. Okay, now I can turn on onion skin, and you can see kind of like all the different movement frames all layered over each other. So you can kind of see where everything's going to move in this frame, which is a cool tool. It's very useful. There was a little bit of bug there where it didn't seem to work while I was in the middle of playing, but that's okay. There's another part here where you can adjust the loop. If you want to, you can go frame by frame if you like, because that can be important, adjusting certain frames, especially because here you have the ability to set the loop point. So you can say, all right, I only want to go the first 10 frames, let's say. Let's say I want to go with the first 30 frames. Set loop point. Now, if I hit play, it'll only loop the first 30 seconds. Oh, did I do it wrong? Maybe I did it wrong. Let's go back. Oh, I had to hit preview loop. I'm dumb. My bad. Preview loop. So it recached real quick, and now it's only doing the first 30 seconds. So that's one thing that you can do is you can set the loop point. So if you want to only go 30 seconds, or if you want to go, let's say you want to go 60 seconds, you can set the loop point again. Preview loop. Looked like there was a little bug there, but now it's working again. So yeah, we're previewing 60 seconds of loop. So let's stop, clear. I like the full loop. I'm gonna keep the full loop. That's fine by me. So another thing you can do, once you've chosen how much of the loop you want to use, down here you can set. Do you want it to ping pong, reverse, or no loop? So no loop is just gonna go left to right, and that's it. Left to right, go back to start. Left to right, go back to start. Which ironically is looping, but you can set it to ping pong, which means that it's gonna do this. It's gonna go left, right, right, left, left, right, right, left, and that's how it's gonna loop. So maybe that's fine for you. I don't know. It could be fine. I've found that actually ping pong is pretty good because of the fact that you basically force it that no matter what, it's gonna start and end at the same frame. Ping pong kind of ensures that the start and end is identical, because like this end frame may not look like the start frame, right? But if you use ping pong, you can kind of ensure, it's kind of a little bit of a hacky trick to ensure that the start and end frame are identical. Anyway, you got a video concatenation. You could add a second video that you can like add to the first one. It looks like I haven't used this yet, but we're gonna avoid using that just and try just with the single thing here for now. But just know that is something you could do. You can append another video on top of the end of this one. The two greens in the background make you irrationally upset. Well, hopefully we can fix that in a moment. It looks really good, thanks. I don't know if I commented on that already. I think I did. Either way, we're gonna move to the model exporter. Oh no, no. No, this is normal. Okay, it's normal. All right. So here you got the chroma key. You can skip to this part and drop your video, or you can do what we're doing. We kind of went from the previous step to step 3 to 4. Here's the same loop. It looks a little glitchy, but it's the same loop. Except now we're adding the chroma key. We're trying to delete the background here. So we can click on green, since green is our first, green's obviously what we're using. And then we can adjust these settings to make sure, how much of the green do we want to get rid of if we want to be like extra careful. You can go like, because you might delete too much. It might look bad if you go too far. For example, if you go too far, you're cutting away too much. If you go too far back, you're going to include too much green. So around 40%. 40 seems like a good, I like to go to around 45. That's a good even area, I guess. Although I'm noticing it cutting out a little bit of the hair, but we'll see. We'll go to 45 and let's see how that looks. You can adjust smoothness, the spill suppression, which I haven't really messed with these yet. But if you get a bad look, I guess if you get let's make it obvious. So we get something like this. We can see smoothness. What does smoothness do? Well, I'm not really noticing too much from smoothness, but I guess unfortunately I don't know what I'm looking for. I should have checked where that was by default. So another recommendation I would have for this app would be to have a default button. So let's say I messed with all this, because I just kind of ran into this. Let's say I messed with all this, and then, oops, I don't remember what this was at. Whoops, I don't remember what I set this all to. Oh man, everything looks really bad. I'd like to go to what it was at default. There should be a default button. That would be nice to press the default button and have it reset all the settings back to their default positions. That would be a nice to have. Anyway, so I'm going to move this to, I remembered I set this to 45. And then the spill suppression was at 10, I think. Smoothest was at, I don't know, 8, was it? Either way, we're going to set those there. We're going to go to select green. You can select auto, or you can pick a color from the frame to try and auto do it. So far, auto doesn't seem to work super well that I've seen. I'm not really sure why. Auto doesn't seem to really work super well. So maybe that's something to work on. But when just selecting the color yourself seems to work fine. Maybe if you're doing auto, it makes more sense to adjust these. Either way, so if you want to like check for issues, you can switch out the background to black, white, or original. You can just kind of see is there issues. The one thing is that when you're flipping through this, now when you're on original, it doesn't really look like it. You can't really see a like a pixel at the bottom. On checker, it doesn't really look that visible, but when you go to white, it kind of really stands out. It looks like there is something here. Now, I don't know if that's real. I don't know if there's actually a pixel length issue, or if it's just kind of like an issue with the background. That's hard to tell. So I don't know if this is a bug or not, but it's something I noticed. I'll go back to checker and leave it that way. Anyway, so we've got the background kind of keyed out. You can adjust some certain settings down here, like you can go scale, you can zoom in or out if you'd like. You can another small nitpick is that I can't go back to 100%. I moved the slider and now it goes to 101% and it's annoying my autism a little bit. Not a big deal, but I want that to say 100. A potential additional thing you could add is maybe if you can double click on this number and then manually type in like 99% or 100%, that would be nice. So being able to input an exact number, not important, but just a nice to have. Considering that people using this are likely to be also autistic, yeah, so it might be valued, you know. You can adjust the brightness. See, this one goes to 100. I don't know what there's our upload reference image. I don't know what this will do. I don't really know what, I guess we can try it. I'm not really sure why you'd upload here, but we can do, so I guess, it's gonna try and match the saturation of your included image, which I guess, part of the reason you might do this is that if you adjust the chroma key too much a certain direction, right? It can kind of mess with the color of your image, right? The color of your image might be off, askew. So you might want to use these down here to try and fix any... You could use this to kind of fix any issues with the coloring. Now, I don't know how well it works, but, you know, it tries. I'm going to set it back to what I had it at. All right, 45%, 8%, 10%. There's a checkbox here for if you're using any effects. Like Leaflit demonstrated one that involved, I think it was either like a changing costume transformation or shooting. I think it was a shooting a gun transformation that involved smoke plumes. So if you have plumes of smoke coming out, it may not look good with chroma keys, as often is the case for many programs, not just this one. So we have a checkbox which is used to maybe help alleviate chroma key on smoke issues. We don't have any smoke in ours right now. This is just an idle, but you know, something to keep in mind. And I did turn on anti-aliasing. I don't know. I like it, but it doesn't seem to change too much. But it just kind of rounds off the edges a little bit, it looks like. You can crop it. We're going to leave crop off. You're also able to fade the edges. We don't really have anything around the edges, so we don't have anything to fade. But if you have any graphics that reach towards the edge of the screen, that's where you can use this edge fade to kind of get rid of it, or maybe make it like more nicely exit the frame rather than be a hard cut. Sometimes you want the hard cut, but if you don't want it to be as hard, you can have the frame edge. It might work even for a fossilized PC. That's the beauty of it, is that if you don't have a new computer, you know, this kind of thing is great. It's like much better than just using a basic PNG tuber. You can have a much more expressive, more customizable, nicer avatar than you otherwise would be able to have, and be able to run it on a toaster. So that is a nice benefit of it. We're gonna leave the start frame, end frames, frame skip, FPS override alone. Those are things you can mess with, but for now we're gonna leave it. We're gonna leave the width and the height alone. That's locked. I mean, you can unlock it. Now I don't know if this is this a bug? I don't know. If I adjust this, like, I'm not really sure what the lock button does. Hang on. If I go to 0. I think the lock button locks the aspect ratio. Yeah, okay, I get it now. I get it. So if I adjust while it's locked, let's see. Let's say I do 720 here. It auto adjusts the height. Okay, I get it. But we're gonna set it to 1280. Goes to 720. Perfect. Anyway, continuing on. If I come here, back here. All right, so we got our animation. We've set everything. Now we're gonna. They have a quick file name, which is very nice. Something I wanted to mention. It seems to add in the name of your character. You can see, like, it's gonna switch. It's gonna prefix it with Commissar Neko, and then add whatever here you're adding. One thing I would say is probably, well, we'll see. But one thing I've noticed is that if I were to take this and save it, and then throw it in the folder, in the assets folder for the client to grab, it looks like the client is looking for neutral, right? It's looking for neutral, which so I did have a momentary confusion where I generated all my different WebMs, and I had neutral, and I had speaking, or I had idle, and I had speaking, and it said something like Neko _ idle, Neko _ speaking, and then I threw them in the assets folder, and then I was like, what the heck? It's not detecting my character. I had to rename it manually. I had to rename it manually to be neutral idle and neutral speaking before the client detected it. So that's one thing to keep in mind. A little confusion I ran into. Neutral idle. And let's save that. You're gonna hear it's gonna pop the sound again, so be ready. Have your ears ready.
Quest complete.
There we go. Quest complete. All right, so I'm saving the idle animation. Okay, let's go back. I'll just say what I said a second ago. It finished downloading. We were in the model exporter. It finished downloading. We finished exporting the idle animation. So now we're going to go back to the generate video, which still has our reference image in it that we had previously. And we're going to now just adjust it. I removed all the no talking, no speaking, mouth closed, all that. And we're just going to say character. We're adding character is actively speaking in a seamless loop. So we're going to, again, generate with 2 generations here. Let's see. Let's hope. The quest is complete. Oh my gosh. So we got our 2 videos. Let's see. This should be now talking. We're looking for talking. We're going to play them both. I'm going to choose it just to speed things up. I like the right one. I'm going to choose the right one. I think the ear twitching is cute. You know, look, it looks kind of angry. A little bit angry, but very stern, right? It's cool. So we're going to go with that one. When it's done caching, I don't want to mess with it while it's caching, just in case. But okay, it's done caching. We can preview the loop. Seems to be going fast. Oh, it's caching again. Okay. So this is normal speed. Normal speed. All right. That looks good, I think. So let's stop the preview. We're gonna go with that. Let's try. We're gonna try and get through this as quick as we can. Okay, so we got that. We got the ping pong set. We're gonna leave it at ping pong. I think that looks good. And we're gonna go to export. So once you got the flow, it's a lot faster. Like once you know what you're doing, and once I don't have to explain every step, of course, it is a lot faster to get through this. We're just going to set the similarity. Well, similarity is still 45. We're going to choose green as chroma key. We'll leave everything else the same as it already was. We have anti-aliasing on. That's all good. We'll leave all this the same. We're going to choose now speaking. I'm going to change this to say neutral speaking. And then I'm going to export that. Now we have to wait once again. We have 2 different things. Now I'm gonna get those done so we can finally switch to see what it looks like. So one moment, bear with me. Right now I'm gonna take the 2 WebMs I created. I have a neutral _ idle.webm. I have a neutral _ speaking.webm. I'm gonna cut those and move them into my AS Adventurer Creator folder. I'm gonna go into the client folder. So this is you have to have the client downloaded, which is going to be this one. This is going to be found at the this right here. Sorry, the one on the left here, the AS Adventure client. This is what you're going to have to download in order to have this part here. Now, to get our model showing up in the model list, that's where we're going to be cutting the WebMs, and we're going to be placing it in the public assets folder that is within the folder we downloaded of this. So, in the public folder, in the assets folder, I'm going to create a new folder in here called, I don't know, Commissar Neko. I don't know if I'm spelling that right, but whatever. It'll function. I'm going to paste the 2 WebMs in there. Now that I've done that, I believe, I don't know if it'll auto-detect. It doesn't seem to be auto-detecting it yet. Okay, it did check it. Or sorry, I can't speak. It did just check it now. Here's 4 models available. So now we can see Commissar Neko, and I can switch to it. Wow. Wait, there we go. See, it was pretty quick, right? Damn, wasn't that fast as fuck? But yeah, so here we go. Here's the model. Looking all nice and stuff, right? Very cool. So that was like, once you have it, once you have the pattern down on what to do, it's pretty quick. And the results are very nice. Oh, damn, that was fast, right? And that's cool as fuck? Yeah. Damn nice. Pretty cool, yeah. Yeah, it is, yeah. Thanks. Anyway. So that's kind of demonstrating the beginning to end process of kind of creating it, putting it in here. So once we switch to it, you can see now. Okay, so if you want to use a webcam, you can use VTube Studio. You can use iFacial mocap. Both use iPhone tracking, I believe. You can also use a webcam. I'm not using the webcam. I'm just using the microphone. So that goes to show you can just use the microphone alone. Obviously, if you're using no camera footage, you're not going to be able to use the expressions. One thing I think should be added, one thing that can be added that I would argue would be beneficial would be having being able to put hotkeys, being able to have a hotkey for smile, hotkey for frown, like so I can switch expressions on a hotkey would be nice for those who don't want to use a camera. That would be a nice benefit. Now here's state. You can override it. You can intentionally click to like switch if you want to switch. You can click to switch. That's why I think hotkeys would be easy to add. Like I can switch it to happy, but right now there is no happy. I can switch it to any of these, but I don't have any like animations for those. So I'm gonna leave it on neutral. And you can see our 2 asset statuses. We have neutral idle, neutral speaking. So yeah, that's how you do that part. Not using a camera is how I would probably do it. Yeah, that's how I imagine a lot of people who don't use avatars right now, who are just trying to use like a PNG tuber kind of thing, or want to get into it just at that level, I absolutely would believe would probably be doing what I'm doing, which is no tracking source, microphone only. And yeah, so I think really that would be a great thing to add would be the what did I call it again? Shortcuts. Having shortcuts to be able to switch your state override. Anyway, Leaflit's working on it. Leaflit's going to be fixing some stuff. She said there's going to be a new update coming out tomorrow. And, with some of the bugs that we've seen here fixed, ideally, or hopefully. So that'll be cool.